repeats itself. So this is how we can know that this actually turned into wave 3. And if you can see, the magenta line actually came back into the zone. So for next week, I'm looking for this to maybe create an M and then start the downtrend, or maybe shoot up a little bit more to maybe continue the third wave up. However, I'm still looking for sales, so I won't get into a sell until the M is actually completed, or head and shoulders, a triple top, or anything of that sort. And I'm looking for short once it creates one of those patterns and take this all the way down. So it did actually continue up. Like I said, it came down, created a M. I got in right here, and the market actually did a huge drop. So we can see the market doing a huge drop right here. So if you actually caught this drop, you caught about maybe 300 pips. I'd say about maybe 280 pips last week off this move alone. Now, this move was expected, so congratulations for those who caught it. It did make up for the USD as well. I told you I went ahead and entered a sell right here. I was also in the sell from right here. I went ahead and closed that sell because I entered another sell. So I entered another sell right here. And I'm currently up about 150 pips. So the reason I said the market was creating wave 1, so we know this is the drop and this is the consolidation, which we consider wave 1. So this first consolidation happened. I seen it playing around. I entered right here. It came up, came down, came up. Then finally shot out. Excuse me. So now what I'm looking for, because like I said, and usually when they do moves like this, is to manipulate the minds of weak traders. So basically, once you switch your bias, because pretty much right now everybody's switching their bias from maybe this possibly changing trends to maybe the trend continuing. So usually when the market does things like that, as soon as everybody switches their bias, I think it's going to continue down. That's when the market actually reverses. So keeping that in mind, I'm actually looking for USD JPY to maybe, let me bring out this, to maybe do like this and then continue up, or maybe play around right here and then continue up. But my bias is still the same. My psychology is pretty strong in the market. So I would say I'm not falling for the tricks. The market is designed by the top psychologists and bankers in the world for one specific purpose: to take your money. And when you switch your bias, which most people usually do around this time, and they switch on you, the next time your psychology will be messed up as well. You'll stay in the forever loop of the messed up psychology. So that's basically what they're trying to do. Play with your psychology because your mind is attached to the money. So with that being said, we're going to say I'm still looking for, my bias is still up. Nothing hasn't changed. It's just created another wave down. And like I entered again right here. So I'm currently up about 111 pips. Also entered right here. You can check the, I think 2 weeks ago, I called this entry. And then I called this second entry last week. So I went ahead and make this a wave, because you know it's 3 of them. So I said, if you were in the group chat, I even told y'all this wave has been defined. It looks like USD JPY is defining wave 1. So this would be wave 1. This would be the transition wave actually coming out to come back in to get more liquidity and shoot up. So next week, I'm looking for it maybe to continue up right here. For a possible scenarios, it needs to come down and get a little bit more liquidity. As we can see, the VB timer is confirming that as well. So to be real conservative, we can wait till the VB timer enters the zone again for more confirmation. But if you buy right here, I wouldn't see nothing wrong with it. Or buying right here would be the safest point. But anyway, we know that this is a transition wave. Once it comes in here, picks up liquidity, we're going to shoot out and create the second wave. So we're still shoot up drastically to create wave 2, because this hasn't even started wave 2. This is still part of the consolidation wave. So you know we have this wave right here, still part of the consolidation. So USD JPY was still looking for buys. I called the buy right here. So if you took that buy, you're up 300 pips off of that entry alone. And I called the buy right here. If you took that entry, you're up 200 pips. So 300 and 200 pips. Two entries, 500 pips total. If you watched the last webinar, we said price was right here. We said, hey, for the next week, we're possibly looking for market to come down and probably get some liquidity out and then continue up. And I said this is the lowest price I see it coming before going up. And as you can see, the market actually did that. However, we're still playing around the previous high. So next week, I expect the market to maybe play around here and then shoot up. It could just shoot up from here, but I'm still in a buy and upward bias on this pair. So USD CHF still looking for buys. I like to contain price within some form of channel sometime. You can see the channel right here on the downtrend if I drill that area. So anyway, we know from the Magic Magenta that this is an uptrend. I called entries here, was it here, and that was it. So if you're up from this entry, you're up about, let's say 430 pips. If you got this entry, you're probably up the same amount, about 400 pips. If you got this entry, you're up maybe 300 pips. And let's see what the VB timer entries were. So this was the VB timer entry right here. So you could have did the 100 pip take profit. If you are following that strategy as well, you would got your 100 pips. If you were holding that trade, you're still up. You had another entry right here. Let's see the 50 pip. Nope, didn't win 50 pips, so it's just a winner. If you had 100 pips. And if you're still holding, you're 300 pips. However, the hold trade is usually the first entry. So this is usually the hold trade right here. You would be holding this, currently up about 400 pips. And you would be many entries into this uptrend as the VB timer, the 100 pip entry. So this will be, let me see this again, 430 pips total off that move alone. And you would have caught 100 pips right here. So it's 500 pips. And we have another entry right here. 600 pips you already made in this uptrend just by following the hold trade and the entries on the VB timer and knowing the waves, of course, and all that. However, you're still up a great amount of pips in about a span of a month. So I would say a month. You're still doing good. And if you hold this trade since 26th of February, you're learning patience because